They'll do it when times are good, and they'll abandon it as soon as times are bad. And that I call the flip-flopping culture.
Welcome to another $4 million strategy. Today we have Rob Bier, author of Smooth Scaling. Today we're talking about how to create a strategic culture. Rob, let's hear it.
So every executive understands the idea of productivity and getting shit done and being fast and hard charging and achieving business results. That part's easy. But then somebody comes along, maybe them or maybe their HR person, and says, yeah, but we need to have a thriving culture. We need to be a great place to work. We need to attract the best employees. And most executives would agree with those statements, but they're not quite sure what they mean. And there's been a lot of confusion about what it means to have a great culture. So if you go to Silicon Valley, in the last few years, you might see great culture defined as sushi bars and free laundry and all these perks and wonderful office spaces. And most executives look at that and rightly reject it because they say, well, Google and Meta, they have all the money in the world. I don't in my company. If that's what it means to have a great culture, we can't do that. They're right to reject that. That's the wrong definition. Then very often, their HR people come along and say, no, what we need is to measure engagement and offer coaching and training and career path development and mental health days. And they kind of scratch their head and they say, that sounds better than sushi bars, a little more relevant. So I'm happy to do that. You go off and develop a program. But here's the problem. Because they don't truly believe deep down that those aspects of culture help them to get shit done, help to drive the business forward, they'll do it when times are good and they'll abandon it as soon as times are bad. And that I call the flip-flopping culture. And I think that's like 90% of the companies in the world, right? Soon as times are tough, the first person that gets a visit from the CEO is the HR director, and he says, I'm so sorry, or she says, I'm so sorry that we've had to cancel all your wonderful programs, but we'll bring them back. Just put them on hold for a year or two. It's again because of a misunderstanding of culture. We'll never build truly great cultures until people recognize that the element about thriving humans and a great place to work has to be fully aligned with getting shit done and productivity and achieving business results so that they're not in tension with each other. They're collinear. And the way to do that is to define a great culture as every meeting I go to is a great meeting. We communicate well. People really listen. They're never just like talking over each other or bullying each other. I feel included. I feel people are interested in my opinion. The dynamics are good. And that's true whether it's a one-to-one with a colleague or a boss. It's true when my team gets together. And it's even true, God forbid, in cross-functional meetings and cross-functional processes where normally people are at loggerheads and there's a lot of finger pointing and blame. In my book, I go into why that is. There are structural reasons that cross-functional collaboration is much, much harder than collaboration within your team. And it's important to understand those reasons so that you can overcome those obstacles. And they absolutely can be overcome. But if you imagine going into a company where every time you meet with a colleague, with your boss, with your team, or in a cross-functional setting, whether it's on Zoom or Teams or in person, you get really good work done. You work on your most important issues. You generate ideas together. You make strong decisions, and it feels good. You will think, I like working with those people. They're good. They're listening. They're collaborative. They compromise. They're reasonable. They seem to care about my point of view. Then you have a truly great, highly strategic culture in which people love doing the work, not just coming to work. And you get a lot done.
Rob, love it. Thank you so much for your contributions to having a great strategic culture.
Thanks, Carl.